Hello everyone, welcome to Skills Build Training YouTube channel. Myself Mohammad Zubair, and this channel is all about showing you how to become an IT pro really fast. So the topic of today's video is how to choose a motherboard for your PC. So without any further ado, let's get started. A motherboard is a printed circuit board, which is also known as PCB, and a motherboard is like a backbone of a computer, and it ties the component of the computer together at one place, and it makes sure that communication takes place between those components effectively. A lot of computer manufacturers today are making the motherboards to integrate almost everything like desktop computers, laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. Motherboard decides if you can make any upgrades in your system in the future or not. So choosing a motherboard is a very important decision. When building a new PC, there are a lot of factors which everyone should consider, and choosing a motherboard is one of them. Selection of motherboard again depends on a lot of factors, and they can be anything ranging from your budget to the specifications you need in your system. So let's see how to choose a motherboard for your PC or your system. The first factor which one should consider is the form factor. It is the first and foremost factor to consider. For those who do not know what form factor is, basically it is the size consideration of the motherboard. So it is very important to consider the size of the PC we are going to build and how many components we are going to configure now and how much flexibility we want for the future upgradation of the system. So on the base of these factors, we will choose the size of the motherboard. Usually, the three sizes are compared in terms of the motherboard. The first one is the Mini ATX. Then we have Micro ATX, which is the bigger in size than the Mini ATX. And at last, we have ATX, and that is the largest of them all. As per their sizes, they offer different specifications in terms of the hardware components we can attach with each one. Mini ATX allows to have one expansion slot, Micro ATX allows 4, and ATX allows to add 7 expansion slots. Then if we talk about the RAM slots, Mini and Micro ATX can have 2 slots and ATX can have 8 slots for RAM. And same goes for the GPUs, as the Mini ATX have 1 GPU, Micro ATX can have up to 3 GPUs, and at last the ATX can have up to 4 GPUs. There are also other factors which vary with each size of motherboards, so do consider those and select the one as per your need. So these were some of the specifications with each size provides. So it depends on us that how much resources we want to add and attach with our motherboards or we want to consider for the future. So that was all about the form factor, and now let's move on to the second consideration while choosing a motherboard, and that is motherboard expansion options. Expansion options into a motherboard is a very prominent factor which can decide your choice, as motherboard can connect various components of the system like network cards, sound cards, graphic cards, storage devices, etc. So we must consider the expansion ports in the motherboard. We have many expansion ports nowadays, but I would suggest to just consider the Peripheral Components Interconnect Express. It is also known as PCIe ports. It is one of the most important port which is used to connect most of the components to the motherboard today. We get 4 sizes of PCIe slots. The most common which is getting used today is PCIe 3.0. So we need to make sure that we get the enough expansion slots to fulfill our current and future needs. Motherboard vary with each other in terms of slots they contain and the positioning of the slots. There are 4 slots: X1, X4, X8 and X16. X4 and X16 are the most common and most commonly used. So make sure that which one you want to use and which one is your need. And after that, choose the motherboard depending on the expansion options. And now let's talk about the CPU. CPU is another factor which makes a good motherboard, as the CPU socket on your motherboard can only be used with only the chip line designed for it. So the CPU we are planning to pair or attach with the motherboard will minimize and narrow down the options. So we should make sure that the CPU and the motherboard we are going to use are compatible with each other. Motherboards usually have at least one socket for processors, but not all the motherboards have the socket for the processors. Like Intel NUC and many other laptops having less space, the CPU or the processor is soldered into the motherboard. So there are two giant manufacturers of processors. First one is AMD and then we have Intel. And obviously the AMD and Intel processors only work with those motherboards which are dedicated to each type of build. So make sure the type of processor you are going to use, you should have the same type of motherboard. The next thing which might be surprising for you, and that is all the Intel processors are not compatible with all Intel based motherboards, and same goes for the AMD processors and motherboard. And most important thing to know along with all these things related to processors is, in general, processors are not compatible with the old or newer sockets. So we need to make sure that we take care of this problem, and we need to make sure that we consider all these factors in terms of the compatibility of the motherboards and the processors with each other. Now let's talk about GPU. GPUs were not the thing to be considered in the past, but in today's time, it is one of the most important factors while building a PC or a system. So when choosing a motherboard, GPU should be a consideration, as PCs and systems need a way to deliver or output the information to the user in visual format and in such a way that the user can use that information. A graphic card or GPU performs this job. So we need to make sure that the motherboard we are going to choose or going to use is compatible and can support the GPU we have. Let's say we need a powerful GPU, then we might need a separate GPU, or in case if we need a GPU with low power, which is enough for the usual productivity tasks, then we can use the Intel Core CPUs as they come with the integrated GPUs. So in case if we are going to use the powerful and separate GPU, we should remember the type of GPU which is compatible and can be connected to the motherboard, and the number of GPUs should also be considered that a motherboard can support. In today's systems, we can connect most of the GPUs via PCIe slots, and PCIe X16 slots gets used mostly. Besides that, the most modern GPUs require PCI 3.0 or the higher. So this factor should also be considered when choosing a motherboard. It should support and offers the correct type of PCI slots, and that is very easy to do. We just need to check the specifications of the GPU and the specifications of motherboard. If they are matching each other, then we are good to go. The next factor which I am going to discuss is storage. Storage is one of the most important thing in any system, especially the specialized system, whether it's a gaming PC or the system for the 3D modeling or graphic designing, because we need storage to save our work and to install the programs in our system. So storage devices are another factor which should be considered for the motherboard selection and choice. Basically, we have two types of storage devices, HDD and SSDs. SSD is the latest phenomena and it is faster than the HDD. So the compatibility of SSD and HDD with the motherboard should be considered. And one more thing in terms of storage which should be kept in mind is storage devices uses the SATA 3.0 connection, and a motherboard have multiple SATA ports. NVMe and the NVMe which gets connected via a PCIe bus is becoming more and more common. And there are two types of NVMe SSDs. First is card inserted in the PCIe slot and the other is compact type, and the other type is M2 connection. So make sure your motherboard has the compatible slots for the storage devices that they need to get connected and inserted into the motherboard. Now let's talk about RAM. RAM is a super fast and high speed storage that gets used by the computer and its application, and the temporary data storage and access take place in the RAM. RAM is the one more important factor which one should consider when choosing a motherboard. How much of the RAM a system needs? It all depends on the requirements and the needs of the users, as what type of programs a user is running and using in his system. For the common users, 8 and 4 GB of RAM is considered as enough, and for the professional, or you can say for the advanced user, 16 GB is enough. RAMs are attached to the motherboards through the rectangular slots, and they are dual inline memory modules. It is also known as DIMM. Number of dual inline memory modules ranges from 2 to 8 in a motherboard, and number of these dual inline memory modules decides that how much RAM you can add into the system. So we should make sure that the motherboard we are going to choose has the enough number of slots to support the RAM we want to add into the system. Next factor which I'm going to discuss is connectivity. Till now, we know that how many types of components can be connected to the motherboard, like PCIe, dual inline memory modules, slots, and storage connections. Apart from these, latest motherboards also support many other types of connections. Some of those connections are located directly on the motherboard and some of them on the inside of the chassis. And we can connect different ports on its top, side, front, and back, mean on any side of it. So we should also consider the types of ports a chassis can support and the internal connections which a motherboard provides. Apart from the components which can be connected into a motherboard can have some more modules, like modern motherboards also have built-in Wi-Fi. So these are some of the consideration in terms of connectivity we should consider while choosing a motherboard. Last but not the least, and most probably the most important factor for choosing a motherboard is budget. Like there are different ranges with different specifications. For example, we can an overclocking motherboard for AMD chips and it will cost you around $100, and you can get one for the $200 as well. So we have different prices. With low price motherboards, we have to compromise on some specifications, and at the same time, if you want all the specifications or the latest motherboards, then you have to bear the price. So it all depends on your choices and the range of your budget. But obviously, cost is the major factor to consider while choosing a motherboard. And with that, we got to the end of today's video. I hope you have learned a lot of new things to be considered while choosing a motherboard. And if that is the case, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon along with it. If you have something to ask or if you want to suggest something, please leave a comment below. We will get back to you as soon as possible. Till the next video, take care.